Welcome back. Today we're going to dive into a pretty deep topic that I have personally lived through many times, and it is the nature of transitions. The thing that I've learned the most about transitions in life is that is the only constant thing in life. Change is the only constant thing in life, which offers both its challenges and opportunities to grow. Personally, it's been a chariot for creativity to be sparked within me and find an outlet that I look back to and I'm like, whoa, I can't believe I did that through such a challenging time of my life. And staying mindful with endings and beginnings allows us to navigate transitions with grace and with intention. And some of the transitions that I've personally gone through, which I feel like I have a lot of knowledge in this sector to talk about, and little nuggets of wisdom that have helped me grow and evolve in these transitions, was a example would be the passing of my best friend, changing careers that align more with my soul, getting into acupuncture school and leaving medicine. Well, not completely leaving medicine, but like the Western medicine world, and possibly having cancer and facing end of life epiphanies and things of that nature. So I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of what I'm talking about here. So by examining our internal state during these transitions, we gain insights into our emotional landscape, so how we are truly feeling. And when we sit in the depths of this emotional landscape, you come out better, stronger, and it shapes our future experiences. So when we can dive into those depths of our emotional landscape, we're able to retrieve information, lessons, and other insights that we probably would have glazed over when we're not in a transition time. So examining our internal state during transitions helps us understand our emotional landscape. We're going to dive into mindful endings, what that means, mindful beginnings, and what that means and entails. And I'm going to give you some practical techniques for mindful transitions. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the research behind some of what I'm talking about. So stay tuned. So starting with mindful endings, letting go is probably one of the hardest things to acknowledge and recognize. The value of what is ending involves reflecting on the positive aspects of what has ended. And the easiest way that I find myself reflecting and acknowledging that an ending is taking place is by examining and seeing what lessons I can learn from this, or what lessons I have learned from this, and contributions that have been made during this experience, whether it's a career change, whether it's a life transition, whether it's, so an example would be like spend time. You can do this either through meditation, or you can spend time journaling about the skills that you've developed during like a past job that you had, or cherished memories with a loved one, or in a previous relationship that ended. Taking in these things helps you kind of bring closure and a finality by accepting. The next step after acknowledgement is acceptance of what is ending. And I know it's a little hard to do, obviously, when there's like such a big transition happening in your life, but finding moments to embrace the present moment and releasing the resistance means acknowledging the emotions that come up. So allowing yourself while you're journaling or meditating or driving or seeing a friend or whatever, allow the emotions that arise and feel them, like allowing you to withdraw the control of clinging on to whatever is ending, or like a relationship example, right? If a relationship is ending, you don't want to cling on to that person even more, because it's probably going to make the person run away faster. But that's just like a way of saying, let go of the resistance, let go of what isn't serving you, and that is how you will accept what is happening currently and let those emotions ride those emotional waves. And choose not to resist in the natural course of change, because what did I say at the beginning? Change is the only constant in life. So another way you can practice acceptance is by practicing mindfulness, by observing your emotions without labeling them as good emotions or bad emotions. Even when it comes to quote unquote bad emotions like jealousy in a relationship, whatever dynamics are shifting or changing in relationships, even if that emotion comes up, allow yourself to feel it, to acknowledge that that's the emotion, but don't cling on to it. Like, you don't need to attach yourself to that emotion and then sit in it for like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. Okay, like once we've hit acceptance, the next step naturally becomes gratitude. Appreciating the lesson that you learned through this ending and through this transition period of an ending, and the experiences gained involves identifying specific takeaways from the ending and expressing gratitude that you learned them and for the growth and transformation it has brought into you as a person and into your life. Again, you can do this in meditation, in prayer, in journaling, writing a thank you note to yourself or to whoever played a pivotal role in that journey. Even if you don't send it, it can just be a thank you note in your journal page. It doesn't have to be super elaborate, and that other person doesn't have to know it. But these are like the steps of helping you get through and navigate what an ending is. These steps can also be super applied to anything traumatically ending, or even if you've gone through some sort of trauma, and I'm speaking from experience on this. Everything will feel like it was done to you unless you realize and take away a lesson that you needed to learn from a particular bad experience. If you don't take it into that account, if you don't see it from that perspective, I'm like very sure that you're gonna have a hard time moving on from that bad experience unless you take away, hey, what did I need to learn into this experience and take away from this ending? And this ending can be an ending of your old self, like an acknowledgement of, hey, this bad thing happened and that version of me can't exist anymore because of what a terrible experience it was or whatever happened to you. So that is how to deal with letting go and mindful endings. I also worked in the palliative unit, so hospice is like another word for it, where they spend their last moments before they pass away. And so I've gotten a really good look at and understanding of the ending phase of a life, like somebody's life, and different transition periods for family members and all of that. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've kind of seen the psychology behind it and like everything that goes into an ending and a transition, and seeing patients go through this type of transition and go through these steps of, okay, this is where I'm at, this is where life has taken me, and this is where things are, and leaving that resistance of where they are right now in hospice. And that's the acknowledgement part of accepting where you are and seeing and going through memory lane and seeing the lessons you've learned and such. Obviously, this is a pretty extreme example of like somebody's life ending, but I feel like this can be applied to any ending in life. And then once you have that acceptance of, okay, release the resistance, this is where I am, make peace with it, and let the roller coaster of emotions arise. And some days it's good and you're happy and you're at peace, and some days you're angry, like, why am I here, or whatever. Especially when you see a younger individual in hospice, it's heartbreaking, not just for the person, but their family and for the workers around seeing them. And then, yeah, last but not least, it's the gratitude that kicks in of, okay, well, it's after acceptance, right? Like, you feel thankful that you lived this life and that you got these experiences and you were able to do everything that you were able to up to this point. And you feel content that, okay, if this is it, I'm happy with what I've achieved, what I've done, the love that I've given or I haven't given, right? Like, I've seen these steps firsthand, and I think these steps can be applied to anybody in any ending. So, on to the next part is mindful beginnings and embracing the new. So, you have to do the mindful endings bit in your mind before you can move on to the new, because you need to resolve in your mind and have a closure within yourself of the ending before you can enter into the new phase of the beginning. So when you enter into the new phase of the beginning part of your transition, it's by setting an intention, defining clear goals and aspirations for this new phase of life, this new version of you. Who do you want to be? What characteristics, what values, and how will this new version of you behave, whether that's in certain circumstances that have been triggering before, or how you will maneuver life moving forward. Like, what are things that you're going to add into your lifestyle? What are you going to take away? Setting very clear examples. And I've done through Mind Valley this course called Lifebook, and they talk about 12 different categories where you will sit down and see what limiting belief you have in that category, and then find a way and set clear intentions in each 12 categories of how your life is going to move forward. And it was life-changing. So you can do something like this in the 12 categories, or write down 3 intentions in your journal for your next chapter, such as prioritizing self-love, self-care, building stronger relationships with people around you, or whether that's focusing on finance, career, family, friends, spirituality, your health, your mental health, your emotional health. Like, there's so many different areas that you can write these intentions for moving forward to embrace the new phase of life. Another way that you can do this is, this is more of, I guess, like a meditation, but visualization. So creating a mental picture of your desired outcomes helps motivate and clarify your direction. So you can even do this with vision boards and mood boards that you can put up where you see them constantly, or using feng shui, you can put it in the success corner of your bedroom. Other examples is spend 5 minutes daily, right when you wake up or right when you're about to go to bed, visualizing yourself thriving in your new role or your new environment that you would like to take on in your new beginning and embracing the new you. And then last but not least is obviously going to be to take action towards it. It's not just stuck at visualization. The next step is making those little baby steps towards that life, enacting those things that you set intentions for, taking concrete steps to move forward towards your intentions, which ensures the progress and helps build confidence within yourself and trust within yourself. When you start keeping small promises to yourself daily to set these, to like achieve your intentions in long term. So setting small promises to yourself that you continuously keep to yourself. And it can be as simple as, I'm going to get up right the first time when the alarm rings instead of hitting snooze 3, 4, 5 times. Super simple, right? I'm going to drink a glass of water before I have coffee. You know, something, it can be super small that is very easy to attain, and put that into your daily habit so that you are able to achieve these goals and build that confidence back within yourself. And then celebrate those things. It doesn't have to be this like rigorous routine that you implement, and that will probably burn you out more, and you're more likely to regress back into your old habits and your old ways. Okay, next we're going to talk about the practical techniques, I guess, that you can apply for a mindful transition, employing tools to navigate this scary change that is currently happening in your life, or is about to happen, or has already happened, and you need a way of like navigating through this. One of my favorite ones that I personally resisted so much was journaling. Documenting your emotional journey during a transition helps identify the patterns that you're breaking or the new patterns that you're getting into, gain insight on the lessons that you've learned, or the value of the experience that you just had, and to clarify your thoughts, because your thoughts can kind of feel like a jumbled up yarn ball, and you need to unravel it to fully see the bigger picture of what just happened. So you can, again, a personal example, reflecting on a recent career change by journaling about how you were feeling before and during and after the transition, and kind of help you navigate that emotional landscape of this big change that can feel scary and daunting and overwhelming otherwise, when it's just sitting in your head and ruminating in those thoughts. One of my personal favorites that I learned in med school was meditation. So cultivating mindfulness during transition, allowing you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment or attachment. So one of the ones that I learned okay, there's very many different types of meditations out there. So one of the easiest and simplest, and the ones that I learned early on, was to close my eyes and just sit silently in a room and view my thoughts as a cloud. So I'd be sitting, it's complete dark, and then I would see a cloud with like that thought in the middle, or a visual of the thought, and then I would just sit here like an observer watching clouds on a park day or something like that. So you just watch the cloud go by, and then boom, it's gone. And you allow that to happen with any thought that comes up, so you can observe where your energy is going and where you're spending majority of your time thinking about. And when you do this, there will be things that come up that you thought you weren't thinking about, or you thought you dealt with, and they're coming up again. And again, this is to watch these thoughts without judgment, and don't be too hard on yourself, basically, when you're doing this. And it takes practice to be able to sit in a meditation for longer periods of time, as you get better and better at detaching yourself from your thoughts. I have noticed when I initially started meditating was I would get sucked into that cloud. It was like I was inside, I would see the cloud, and then I was inside the cloud. and I'm like reliving whatever memory that came up, and I had to like create a fail safe in my mind to be like, okay, you're meditating and this is a thought and you need to detach from this thought. So then it's like bringing yourself back out of the cloud and back into an observer mode, either by focusing on your breath or just mentally like taking yourself out of that cloud and getting back into that. And the faster you get at recognizing that you were inside the thought cloud, the faster and better you got at observing it without judgment. Next one is creating rituals. No, this is not like some witchy woo-woo stuff, okay? This is creating rituals for yourself as like symbolic gestures to provide closure and a sense of intention for new beginnings. So a really nice one that I like is when an ending is happening or you want an ending to happen, creating a ritual for me was like writing down what you're letting go of and on a piece of paper, and then burn that paper as a symbolizing of a fresh start. So whatever problem that you had or whatever you're letting go of, whether it's a person or a situation, a career, like whatever, you write all your feelings out and then you burn it. You let that go. And not only does it take what's in your brain out onto paper, it takes it out of your brain, puts it onto paper, and then completely burn it, and it's gone out of the reality. And you can do this as many as times so it doesn't come back, but that one's up to you. And then you can create rituals for new beginnings also, like every time you get a promotion you could treat yourself in certain ways, or you start something new, a new project, a new artistic adventure, like whatever it is. When you start something new, you want to also celebrate those moments, so it's not just always like focused hardly on endings. Okay, this last section is talking about the practical techniques for mindful transitions using current recent research and navigating this change with science-backed up things, which I've already covered, but I'm going to kind of go into a little bit more detail about. So one would be utilizing mindfulness apps, which is a really super simple way. If all of what I just said sounds very daunting and you don't know where to start, you don't know how to meditate or whatever, right? Or even journal, what prompts to do and all such. Recent research suggests that using mindfulness apps can enhance emotional regulation and reduce stress during transitions. And these are apps like Headspace, Calm, which offer guided meditations specifically designed for change. Other ones are, I think you have to pay for these, but Mind Valley is a really good one. They have a lot of meditations, but if another free one would be just go on YouTube and search guided meditations. I have also put out some guided meditations last year, and I can link one somewhere in here. But yeah, there's a lot of resources out there. It's one of those things that you can lead a horse to the drinking station, like to the water, but you can't make it drink. So people can provide you with all the tools in the world, but it is going to be up to you to actually start using these tools. And then another one is embracing acceptance and commitment therapy, so ACT. This is an evidence-based approach that helps individuals accept and move through difficult emotions during transitions. So they like to practice diffusion techniques to lessen the grip of unhelpful thoughts and promote acceptance. So an example for a diffusion technique that people would use if to not get attached to a thought would be, okay, if you just went through something in your career and you're having the thought, I am a failure. An example would be in this technique would be instead of I am a failure, you would start saying I am having the thought that I am a failure. So you're not attaching yourself and your identity to this thought that you're having. This creates space between you and the thought and reduces its emotional power. Another one would be silly voice technique. And what it is you repeat a distressing thought in a funny voice, so in a cartoon character's voice. Imagine your inner critic speaking like Mickey Mouse or a robot, which helps you see the thought as less serious and less over-empowering, of kind of taking over your whole day type of thing. There's a bunch of other different ones that they kind of teach you, but going to therapy and finding a good therapist that you feel comfortable with to work through some of these things in a transition can also be helpful. There's a lot of nonprofits in each city that if you don't have the funds and the money to go to therapy, you can do these nonprofit ones where they have like a pay by scale depending on how much you're making, or and sometimes they do give them for free because they want to be able to provide these services for everyone. And yeah, so the third one would be cultivating gratitude practices, finding ways, like Oprah Winfrey, I heard recently, every morning she likes to write down 10 things that she's grateful for. So putting a gratitude practice into your routine, whether that's right when you wake up or right before going to bed, whether that's while you're driving, when you have a second while you're drinking coffee. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can enhance your well-being during transitions by shifting the focus from the negative to a more positive focus. So you can also journal about things that you're grateful for related to the ending that's happening in your life and for the possible new beginning that's also happening. And there's a bunch of gratitude meditations also out there, a lot of them out there in the world, so you can pick and choose which one you want. Overall, I would say living with intention is the key overall to mindful endings and beginnings, and they're not just for major life events, but also in everyday transitions. So morning to night, night to morning, applying these techniques can enhance your overall well-being. By embracing change with intention, we unlock greater peace and purpose and fulfillment within our life. And integrating some of these mindful endings and beginnings into daily life enhances our ability to navigate transitions with greater ease and grace. And then research also indicates that incorporating mindfulness practices into everyday routines can lead to increased emotional regulation, reduce stress, and improve overall well-being, particularly during periods of change. And again, remember, change is the only constant in life. So you want to get good at being able to handle change. And even according to 2023 study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology, practicing gratitude for even small daily transitions such as completing a task, enjoying a meal, can promote feelings of contentment and enhance overall life satisfaction. I'm going to go back to enjoying a meal because this is going to tie into some of my newer videos about nutrition and TCM and how your inner attitude while you're eating really affects your digestive system and how well you digest the food that you just ate. So that's a little nugget for some future videos that are coming in soon. Again, I think that wraps it up about this heavy topic. And if you liked any of what you heard, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions about certain examples that I've given or would like more insight in any of the topics that we kind of talked about, comment those below. And until next time, bye.